everybody. So today is Saturday. That means it's time for family movie night. And today we are starting my annual series of classic movie musicals month. And this is one that I've done for a couple of years now. And I always love talking about these classic films. And of course, I love talking about musicals anytime I have a chance to. And today we're talking about Brigadoon. And this is from 1954. And I've always felt like Brigadoon was a bit underrated, underappreciated as a movie musical. Actually, I think even as a stage musical, it's somewhat underappreciated. It was Lerner and Lowe's first musical that they did together, and I think that it has some really catchy songs. And the movie musical has some really wonderful choreography. Of course, you got Citrice and Gene Kelly, two of the greatest dancers that the movies have ever had, and so that's really incredible. And overall, I think it is just a sweet romance. When you really start to think about it, there's some weird parts of the story, but I still think overall it's a very enjoyable movie musical. And I've always had a soft spot in my heart for Brigadoon because when I was in the eighth grade, the high school drama did Brigadoon. And so that was like, oh, this is kind of what's coming, what I can appreciate. We had a wonderful drama program at Middletown High School. And so it was great to be a part of the productions that I was able to be a part of. But I was just remember being in eighth grade, going to see Brigadoon and just being like, this is incredible. And so I've always had a fondness for the show. There's some really nice songs in Brigadoon. The Heather on the Hill, Almost Like Being in Love, is probably the most famous song of this musical. But I'll Go Home with Bonnie Jean is really a great number. Waiting for My Dearie. Those are probably the most famous songs of this musical. But Almost Like Being in Love, I feel like that was pretty much covered by everybody, whether it's Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, people like that. Even, like a Michael Bublé probably does that song. It's a really, really good song. And if you didn't know the story, you have these two Americans that are over in Scotland. They're out adventuring and they stumble upon this mysterious town of Brigadoon. So Brigadoon is like kind of a blessed or magical village. Every 100 years, it appears for only one day. This is supposedly done to like protect the people from the evil influences of like witches and stuff. um, and so it's only been 2 days since the spell, I guess, I don't know what you call it, the enchantment got put on, but it's 200 years for outside the world. And if you really think about it, this is kind of like a horror movie. When you think about it, I mean, obviously not everybody had consent to want to be part of this. And they cannot leave. They're stuck there. They have no agency within the town. And of course, this is all exemplified in this character named Harry, who is very upset. He doesn't want to be there. He wanted to marry this Bonnie Jean, and then they'll go home to Bonnie Jean, but she's marrying another. And so he is very upset. And but everybody else, I guess, is fine with this, but he's gonna break the spell, and then everybody disappears, everybody dies. And so you have Tommy and Jeff. And Tommy is your more sort of hopeful, more optimistic. He's played by Gene Kelly. And then you have Jeff, who's the more cynical. He's like a drunk. He's played by Van Johnson. And they make for, you kind of wonder, like, why are these two people friends? What did they see each other? But they make for a pretty good team, and I think that Gene Kelly is as charismatic as ever in this, and he has like pretty, I think, good chemistry with Citrice. And but the real standout is their dancing, the beautiful dancing, like with Heather on the Hill or Almost Like Being in Love. I mean, you definitely have to buy that these two people fall in love in one day, and it's this unforgettable romance, that they'll sacrifice everything. He does sort of have this debate and he decides, I can't leave my whole world behind, but then it keeps haunting him after. And so then he goes back and you woke me up. Mr. Lundy, he says that you'd have to be willing to give up everything to be with that person, which is only right because after all, lad, if you love someone deeply enough, anything is possible. So they do talk about Mr. Lundy talks about how that Brigadoon requires faith. You have to believe in miracles. You have to believe in something that you can't explain, and so that's a nice message in the movie. Of course, again, also it could easily be a horror movie because these people are stuck there. They can't leave, and just to protect them from these witches. I guess the witches are so bad, but again, if you just sort of look at it as a fairy tale, then I think it's really nice and fun, and like I said, has those good songs, the good dancing. I guess they had a lot of problems with the production because it is a shame because they were going to film it in Scotland, but it's all filmed on a set on a back lot, and it does feel that way. They have that like Technicolor, like beautiful cinematography and imagery cinemascope that you have in something like in Oklahoma, and so that's a shame. It does make it feel a little bit cheaper, but I still think that the songs are good, the chemistry is good, it's charming, it's an overall nice story, and you've got Gene Kelly and Citrice at the top of their game. So I think it's definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it in a while, definitely check it out. It'd be a great one for family movie night, and an easy one. You could have like a lot of fun and do like a Brigadoon Scotland kind of night if is part of your family home evening. I think that would be fun. So let me know what you think of Brigadoon. Where does it rate for you as far as classic musicals? I would love to hear your thoughts, and please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate that. And check out my playlist of all my classic movie musical reviews. I would really appreciate that. And make sure you check out On Stage blog, where I am the host of the podcast there. And we talk about a lot of fun theater related and musical related topics. So check that out. And also make sure you take a look at the Patreon group. That's the biggest way you can support everything I'm doing. I would really, really appreciate it. And we have some really cool perks that you'll enjoy. And then we have our merch store where you can get I Love Musicals, I Love Rom-Coms, shirts, lots of other fun stuff. So please take a look at that. I would really appreciate it. And thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk to you later.